The Covid-19 crisis is impacting on all sectors of society, and it's having an interesting effect on the housing market. We have previously reported how Airbnb and short-term tourism lettings have been contributing to the housing crisis, particularly in Dublin. With a pause in tourism due to the coronavirus crisis, the property website Daft has reported an increase in listings on their site. In March, there was an increase of 64% of homes in central Dublin, mainly 1 and 2 bed apartments. There were 400 adverts posted compared to 242 in March 2019. Some of these may have become vacant because of migrant workers and students leaving the city. However, some of these properties are likely to have been listed on Airbnb for short-term lettings. But it's not only in Dublin that this is happening. CNBC reported recently that many Airbnb property owners in the US are now moving to the long-term property market. In Venice, where the economy has been built on tourism, Airbnb has caused a serious hike in rents over the last few years, with many residents no longer being able to afford to live there. Now, following floods last year and the coronavirus, there are renewed calls from residents to rethink the economic policy of heavy reliance of tourism. One resident describes tourism as a double-edged sword. At the beginning you earn a lot of money, but in the end it destroys the community and our own economy. In the UK, several cities have seen increases in letting adverts, many of them moving from the short-term tourism market to long-term lets. In London, letting website Rightmove saw a 45% increase in adverts. In Edinburgh, the figure is 62%. Across London, the property market is awash with listings that bear all the hallmarks of Airbnb rentals. These apartments are filled with identikit furniture, generic artwork, cheap fixtures and fittings, and next to no signs that anyone has ever lived there. In Barcelona, resistance against Airbnb has been high. Now some properties are being listed at almost 30% below the market rate. When this crisis ends, most of these property owners will move back into the short-term Airbnb market because profits are higher. But it raises the question of the need for stricter regulation and enforcement of Airbnb lettings in the middle of a housing crisis. The greed of landlords should not keep families and workers out of the rental market. In Dublin, we have seen hundreds of families living in hotel rooms, while tourists stay in apartments and houses rented out through Airbnb. The current public health crisis also raises questions of the strategy of building an economy on tourism. The Fine Gael government has promoted tourism as a viable economic strategy following the 2008 recession. There are an estimated 325,000 jobs in Ireland based on tourism. Many of these people now find themselves out of work, not knowing if or when they'll return. This crisis could provide an opportunity to make radical changes in how we run society and start reorganising society on a basis of need rather than greed. But that means on a socialist basis.